Tesla Motors is revving up to release its quarterly results in about 30 minutes, and Tesla may soon be more than just cars, because in just 1 week, CEO Elon Musk will unveil his big idea for a high-speed, long-distance transportation system. Meet the Hyperloop. It's pretty cool.
The favoured method of long-distance travel in last year's remake of Total Recall involved plummeting through the Earth's core at hypersonic speed. Elon Musk, the founder of Tesla Cars and owner of SpaceX, has already established a reputation for revolutionizing travel, sinking more than $100 million into this reusable rocket. But though his latest proposal may be earthbound, that doesn't mean it's any less space age. His bold idea for a fifth mode of transportation called Hyperloop has been generating a lot of, well, hype. It promises to turn travel from LA to San Francisco into a half-hour commute. But it's not the only idea out there. ET3 is a Colorado company developing an evacuated tube transportation system. Passenger pods hurtling long distances through 5-foot diameter tubes that they're calling space travel on Earth. The top speed, 4,000 miles an hour. But without some critical thrust from investors, that may remain a pipe dream. British tech firm Reaction Engines is marketing a cooling system for jet engines powered by liquid hydrogen. The proposed A2 space planes could carry 300 passengers halfway around the world at Mach 5. But with no windows, the views leave a lot to be desired. The UK government recently promised $90 million to the firm to continue with development. And by 2019, the Saka S1, billed as a fuel-efficient version of a fighter jet, may be just one more option for business execs wanting a rapid ride at 45,000 feet. The company is still looking for investors. Elon Musk is still looking too, for all sorts of technological solutions. But one thing the PayPal billionaire doesn't need to worry about is funding.
Musk's grand plan for the future may not help him this afternoon, however. Analysts are estimating a loss for this quarter following last quarter's first-ever profit. So can Elon Musk convince his investors he can bring back the electricity, so to speak? We want to ask our panel. Matt Miller with the story, Andrea James with the strategy, and Alan Nuckman with your trade. All right, first over to you, Matt. What are people watching for most this afternoon?
I have to say, you know, what I watch for most, because I'm a car guy, are things like torque. Electric motors deliver it instantly. Also, electric vehicles are starting to beat combustion engines in really cool and important races like Pikes Peak and the TT. But also, I'm obviously a business journalist, so my second thought is, and maybe more importantly, that this is a company whose stock chart looks almost impossible. A gain of 350% in the last 12 months. Most of that came this year, so it's easy to mistake the actual stock chart for a dyno of Ducati 1198 Superbike. If you look at how people value Tesla, it's a little bit confusing. The company's worth $16 billion at today's share price. It's almost twice the market cap of Fiat, which owns Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Lancia, Alfa Romeo, Maserati, and Ferrari. Fiat also sells over 1 million cars a quarter, and Tesla struggles to get to 5,000. That makes it difficult to try and value Tesla by its almost non-existent sales numbers, expected to come in at about $388 million for this quarter. That's almost a revenue rounding error compared to Fiat or Ford or GM. Toyota, for example, puts out a sales number that's that plus $63 billion in a quarter. And Toyota also earned about $6 billion in profit last quarter. Tesla expects to lose money, and we're thinking about 20 cents a share is where we'll see that loss come in. It makes it really difficult to value the company on a price-to-earnings basis, and a price-to-book basis doesn't make sense for a car maker unless it's in bankruptcy. So you have to wonder why 8 out of 14 analysts say you should keep buying these shares at $135 a pop. Deutsche Bank says they're worth another 25 bucks on top of that. Northland Security says you should add another 100. But I have to ask what they're basing this on besides faith and the future transport system that looked, I have to say, really cool.
Yeah, it does look really cool. Well, let's go over to Andrea because she's one of those analysts that's been pretty bullish on this stock. 117 bucks a share. As Matt points out, could it just be too expensive, Andrea?
So I'm published at a $200 price target. There's no Hyperloop estimates in my published estimates. Really, Tesla's a market share play on the $1.5 trillion auto market. And people have stopped asking what could go wrong with Tesla. They've started to ask what can go right with Tesla. And the answer to that is that they can start to capture, a portion of that $1.5 trillion auto market.
Are they doing it quickly enough for you as we speak?
You know, Tesla's innovating pretty fast for an auto company, faster than is typical. So clearly people are satisfied with the progress. The next generation of vehicles, probably a 2017 story at this point. And the stock's kind of trading on a little bit of a discount to that potential of what I think they could do in 2018 and 2019.
I wonder how do you compare this, though? I mean, if you talk about what's typical for an auto company, do you have to go back to 1903? Tesla went from sales of 0 to a few thousand to 5,000, and they're not expected to really move out of that range, very far out of that range, in any quarter this year, are they?
We're on the really rapid part of the growth trajectory right now. In Q1 of last year, they did about $30 million in revenue. In Q1 of this year, they did more than half.
But they didn't have a car out. They didn't have a car last year. So
right,
and this is the first year they've had a product to sell, right? And we saw them sell 5,000 in the first quarter. How rapid is that going to climb? 5,000 units to what? 10,000 units this quarter? 20,000 units?
So this year the goal is, 21,000 units. Next year maybe doubling that, and then until they get to their more mass market car. I mean, there's potential for them to do 50,000 units of the Model S, which is a more expensive car. Then when they get to the lower cost car, which is a $40,000 car, their initial volumes will probably be about 200,000 units. The factory can do 500,000 units without a ton of extra CapEx investment. So that's kind of the way to think about it.
It seems like a really big bet on the future, though, and I think that's the point Matt's making, that as an investor, you're putting your money on the line here, and these are small numbers in terms of how many vehicles they're actually selling. You need them to get to a much larger part of the market before it's really worth $200 a share.
But they're proving the track record, though. 3 years ago, the Model S was a concept. Even a little over a year ago, the Model S there was no deliveries. Today, it's endorsed by Consumer Reports as being one of the best cars on the market. They're steadily moving toward a 25% gross margin on that car. So they've done a lot in the last year. So it's not without merit that people might look to the future and think that what can they do next.
Alan, what do you think? $200 a share for this one?
Well, the first thing I learned as a trader is that anything can happen. I had a target of $60 when it traded between 20 and 40 for a year, and obviously it's exceeded that. So the play I'm looking at is a probability play, not where the market's going to go, but where it's not going to go. Because of the extreme high volatility, and no one has any certainty where the price is going to go with this earnings, you can sell a call spread up above. You sell a 155, 160 call spread up above, and you sell a 115, 110 put spread down below. You take in about $1.50. Your maximum risk is $3.50, and these are options that expire on Friday. So it's strictly an event-driven probability play, but anything can happen with this stock. That is absolutely for sure. It's dealing in not in reality, and you have to be aware of that and control your risk no matter how you play it.
Really quick, last word to Andrea. What do you want to hear today?
I'd like to see at least 4,500 units delivered in Q2. I'd love to see that they're on track with their full year delivery projection of 21,000 units. And I want to see steady progression over Q1 on the gross margins. We want to see good gross margin improvement, tracking to 25%.
I want to remind Adam that it beat the BMW M5 0 to 100 miles per hour. So the technology is there.
All right. Thanks so much to the whole gang. We'll be watching for those unit sales. Andrea James, thank you. Alan Nuckman, thank you. And Matt Miller, thank you. I'll see you a little bit later in the show. Adam.
Trish, coming up, all the news that's fit to print. But is it fit to buy? We're talking about the value of the good old gray lady. That's coming up next.
We now offer your family phone service as low as $1.70 a month with Magic Jack Plus. As low as $19.95 a year. No computer needed. Keep your old phone number. That's right. Keep your old phone number. Start saving today. Available at Walmart.
Are you being audited? And do you owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes? Is the IRS threatening to take more of your money? Don't fight the IRS alone. The Tax Doctor is here to help you negotiate your tax bill and reduce your stress. The IRS can freeze your assets and seize your bank accounts, but you can stop these IRS actions. The Tax Doctor will work with you using our years of experience to represent your case to help you get the best resolution under the IRS guidelines. Help is here to deal with